You are listening to Sales Optex. Visit us at salesoptex.com.
I want you to just imagine something for a second.
Okay.
Imagine you wake up, right? You get your coffee, you sit down at your desk.
Usual morning routine.
Exactly. And you log into work just like you have for, I don't know, the last 5 years.
Right.
Your job title is exactly the same as it was yesterday. Your salary is the same. Your boss is the same.
Yeah, nothing looks different.
Right. You open up your email, you check your Slack messages, you open your CRM, you feel completely prepared to tackle the day.
Because you know how to do your job.
Right. Or so you think. But unbeknownst to you, the actual fundamental nature of what you were supposed to be doing has completely changed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the core mechanics of how you actually provide value to your company completely shifted overnight.
Just entirely altered while you were sleeping.
Exactly. The entire landscape shifted. And the kicker here, nobody bothered to send out a memo.
Oh, man. They never do.
Right. Nobody updated the job description. So what if the job you thought you were doing entirely changed, but nobody bothered to change the name on the door?
It is a terrifying thought, honestly. It really is.
I mean, I would panic.
Right. It is basically the professional equivalent of the laws of physics suddenly altering while you are, in the middle of building a house.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, because you are still holding the same hammer.
Yeah.
Right. You are still staring at the same nails.
Yeah.
But suddenly gravity pulls sideways instead of down.
Oh, man.
And if you keep swinging that hammer the way you always have, you aren't going to build a house. You are going to destroy the foundation.
Because the physics are wrong now.
Exactly. And you won't even understand why it's happening until the roof literally collapses on you.
Right. And, this isn't some hypothetical thought experiment we just came up with.
No, not at all.
For thousands of professionals working in sales operations right now, this is the exact reality.
It is happening today.
The ground has completely shifted under their feet. So our mission in this deep dive today is to explore exactly what happened.
We really need to get into the weeds on this.
We do. We are pulling from some brilliantly stark industry analysis detailing the technical evolution of sales operations.
And the reality it lays out is just incredibly jarring.
It really is. It basically argues that in this space, having deep business knowledge alone is just no longer enough to survive.
Right. Like understanding the sales funnel or knowing how to forecast.
Yeah, or knowing how to align territories, all that business acumen. It's not enough anymore.
It's just not.
So today, we are going to map out exactly what the new expectations are. And, maybe more importantly, what happens to the people who fail to recognize that the rules of gravity have changed.
Because there's a massive paradigm shift happening right in plain sight.
There really is. So let's get into it. Where do we start with this evolution?
Well, if we look at the foundational premise here, it points to a distinct era in sales operations.
An era a lot of people probably remember fondly.
Oh, absolutely. They probably long for it, It was a time when this entire function could run quite successfully on just 3 simple pillars.
Okay, what were they?
Spreadsheets, manual administrative processes, and a really strong, intuitive understanding of the business itself.
The golden age of Excel pivot tables, basically.
Exactly. You knew the sales process inside and out, you were an absolute wizard with Excel, and you were good to go.
You could literally run a multi-million-dollar revenue engine with just those tools.
You really could,
Hmm.
but that time is over. It is completely finished.
It's just done.
Yeah, and what is most fascinating to me is the underlying why. It is not because Excel suddenly disappeared,
Right.
and it is not because, autonomous robots came in and replaced human beings in the ops department.
Right. It's not a Skynet situation where the machines took over the team.
Far from it.
Yeah.
It's really because the systems that modern sales ops rely on have become deeply inherently complex.
Just math.
Yeah, they process such massive volumes of data at such high speeds now. Running them correctly mandates a fundamentally technical skill set.
So it's an architectural challenge now, not an administrative one.
That is exactly it.
I love how you frame that. An architectural challenge. There's a concept from our research today that just, it stopped me in my tracks.
Oh, which one?
It states that sales operations is no longer a business role supported by technology.
Right.
It is a technology-driven role that supports the business.
That is a complete 180-degree flip in identity.
It really is a profound inversion, right?
Think about what that actually means in practice. In the past, you were a business strategist.
You thought about territories, compensation plans, conversion rates.
Exactly. And you happen to use software as a tool to execute those strategies. sort of the way a mathematician uses a calculator.
The calculator serves the math.
Right. But now you have to be a technologist first.
Yeah.
You have to apply technical architecture to achieve that business outcome.
The software isn't just a passive tool anymore.
No, it is the living, breathing environment where the business actually exists.
Wow.
So if you are not operating with a structural engineering mindset, I mean, you are already falling behind.
Which brings us to a really uncomfortable illusion that a lot of people listening might be living under right now.
Oh, the illusion of competence. This is a big one.
Huge. You might be sitting there listening to this thinking, look, I'm fine. I build reports every single day.
I configure workflows to route our leads.
Right. I manage the day-to-day operations of our CRM, and nobody is complaining.
You feel incredibly effective.
You get a request, you complete it, you close the ticket, boom, done.
Yeah, but the reality we are unpacking today argues something totally different.
It argues that if you are just doing those things without a deep technical foundation,
Without understanding the architecture underneath those buttons.
then you are likely suffering from an illusion of competence.
Right, because you aren't actually engineering anything. You are merely guessing.
Guessing in plain sight. That was the exact phrase, right?
That is the exact danger here. We really have to talk about the deceptive simplicity of daily tasks in modern software.
Okay, let's break that down. Think about things you might do on a random Tuesday afternoon.
Right, like your VP of sales asks for a way to track a new marketing campaign.
Super common request. So you go into your CRM, you add a new custom field to a database.
You create a new drop-down menu.
Maybe you build a quick automated workflow to assign those leads to a specific team, and you adjust a dashboard.
Right, in the user interface, these look like incredibly simple administrative tasks.
Just a few clicks, a drag and drop interface, hit save, and you are done.
The software is literally designed to make it feel that easy.
But beneath the surface of that UI, you are making profound, permanent decisions, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You are making decisions about data modeling, system architecture, logic placement, and computational scalability.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate here for a second,
Go for it.
because I can hear people screaming at their speakers right now.
I'm sure they are.
Let's say I am that sales ops person. I get that exact request from the VP of sales.
Okay.
They want a new checkbox on the account page to track a new initiative. I go in, I add the checkbox field, it appears on the screen.
The VP is thrilled.
Right. The sales reps can click it, and the data shows up in the Friday report.
Everyone is happy.
Exactly. So if it works, and my boss is happy, and the business gets what it needs today, why does it matter if I don't know deep system architecture?
A win is a win, right?
Yeah. Why are we overcomplicating a simple checkbox?
It is a completely natural reaction.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's how 90% of the industry has operated for the last decade.
Right.
But let's actually unpack the mechanics of what happens when you just add a checkbox
Mhm.
without architectural foresight.
Okay, let's trace the life of that guess.
So you add the checkbox to the lead object so reps can tag the initiative.
Makes sense.
It works perfectly for a week, but you didn't understand data normalization or relationship mapping.
Oh, boy.
So you didn't map that checkbox to the opportunity object or the customer account object.
Right. Ah, I see exactly where this is going.
Right. 3 months later, those leads convert into paying customers.
Yeah, nice. We made money.
But the marketing team wants to know the total closed-won revenue generated from that specific initiative.
So they run a report on closed deals.
Exactly. But the checkbox data didn't travel with the conversion.
Because the underlying database schema wasn't architected to pass that variable across the tables.
You got it. So the revenue report comes up completely blank.
Oh, no. Marketing thinks the initiative failed.
But sales says it was a huge success. Now you have conflicting metrics across departments.
So what do? I'm guessing you panic.
You panic, and you create a second separate checkbox on the opportunity page,
And you ask the reps to manually remember to check both boxes.
which introduces human error. Because reps are definitely going to forget to check a box twice.
Oh, absolutely. Reps barely want to check a box once.
Right. So you are introducing massive friction. Now you have dirty data.
And to fix the dirty data, what happens next?
Well, you write a clunky, massive workflow rule that constantly scans the database to try and sync the two checkboxes.
A Band-Aid on top of a Band-Aid.
Exactly. And that workflow eats up computational power, which slows down the system for everyone.
And this is just from one single checkbox.
Imagine this exact scenario playing out 5 times a day, every day for 3 years.
Yeah. You aren't actually designing a scalable system at all.
No, you are making a series of blind guesses that happen to work for the moment,
You are solving for the immediate visual outcome, getting the box on the screen.
without considering the structural integrity of the database underneath it.
It makes me think of building a city's road network without understanding anything about traffic flow or civil engineering.
That is a perfect metaphor.
Like someone says, hey, we need a way to get from the bakery to the shoe store.
So you just pave a 2-lane road straight across town.
Yeah, and it works for one car on a Tuesday.
Right, but you didn't consider the intersections, the stoplights, the highway on-ramps.
Or the fact that 1,000 cars will use it during rush hour.
Exactly. And a year later, the entire city is in a state of gridlock.
And nobody can figure out why, because every individual road seemed like a really good idea at the time.
It's the compounding effect of hundreds of unarchitected roads. And the inevitable casualties of this guessing game are severe.
What are the real-world casualties here?
Well, when you build systems by guessing, those guesses eventually materialize as systemic failures.
Like broken reporting.
Right, where the numbers just fundamentally don't add up, like that disconnected marketing revenue.
You get conflicting metrics across departments.
You end up with fragile, over-engineered pipelines that completely shatter the moment the business tries to introduce a new sales methodology.
And ultimately, you arrive at the most damaging casualty of all.
A system that absolutely no one in the company trusts.
And when the business stops trusting the data, the entire purpose of a sales ops department evaporates.
You are essentially flying a commercial airliner, completely blind, and the instruments are giving you random numbers.
Terrifying. So to make this really concrete, let's look at the most ubiquitous tool where these daily guesses are happening.
The CRM.
Specifically, let's look at Salesforce, because it is the titan of this industry, right? It's the perfect lens to view this evolution through.
It really is, because Salesforce's own history perfectly mirrors the evolution of the ops role itself.
How so? Take us back.
Well, if you go back in time, Salesforce was originally designed to be the easy, welcoming gateway into running a sales organization.
Right. Its entire value proposition was that you didn't need to be a software engineer to use it.
Exactly. It was highly configurable. You could add those fields, you could build those simple UI-based workflows.
And you could get something highly functional without knowing a single line of code.
Or understanding the first thing about relational database theory. It was pitched to the world as literally just admin work.
Right. The Salesforce admin. It was a wildly popular career path.
Well, hugely popular.
You take a few courses, you learn where the buttons are, you learn how to reset passwords and build a dashboard, and boom, you are running sales ops.
But the reality today is that the era of the CRM admin as a non-technical, purely administrative role is a complete fallacy.
It doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't. Today, if you are the person responsible for designing and maintaining a modern enterprise CRM environment,
You are not just an admin checking boxes in a setup menu.
no, whether you realize it or not, you are making decisions that are fundamentally identical to data architecture.
Let's unpack that, because honestly, it sounds intimidating.
It should be a little intimidating.
What exactly are these architectural decisions that an admin is making without realizing it?
Okay, when you build out a CRM today, you are essentially constructing a massive relational database.
Okay.
You have to decide how distinct objects, like a contact, a company, a contract, and an invoice, relate to each other.
Right. Are they in a one-to-one relationship?
Or one-to-many, or many-to-many. You have to decide whether a piece of data should be duplicated and stored across different records for easy access.
Or if it should be normalized.
Exactly. Stored in exactly one place and referenced by the others to prevent conflicting information.
And you have to choose the exact right computational data types, right?
Yes. Is this a text string, an integer, a floating point number?
And you have to determine where the logic of the business should actually live.
Should a discount calculation happen in a UI workflow? Should it happen in a back-end script?
Or should it happen outside the CRM entirely in a data warehouse?
Exactly. These are heavy architectural decisions.
And the terrifying part is, the platform doesn't stop you from doing it wrong.
Not at all.
You can absolutely build out massive Salesforce instance without understanding any of those concepts.
The software will gladly let you create a chaotic, unnormalized, messy database.
It won't throw an error saying, hey, you don't know what you're doing.
Right? The platform will let you build it.
Yeah.
But you cannot build it well, and you certainly cannot build it to scale.
Which brings us to a really fascinating concept from the source material that highlights this divide perfectly.
Oh, the data engineer test.
Yes, I love this concept. Let's walk the listener through this.
Okay, imagine you take a true, formally trained data engineer.
Someone who spends their life building scalable back-end architectures for software companies.
Right. And you drop them into a typical, historically managed sales operations CRM setup.
The kind of setup that has been run by non-technical admins for, like, 5 years?
Exactly. That data engineer will immediately spot the difference between a system built by an architect and a system built by someone who was just guessing.
The red flags are glaringly obvious to them, aren't they?
Almost instantaneously.
Let's get really specific here. What exactly does that data engineer see when they look under the hood?
Well, first, they see a massive violation of basic normalization rules.
What does that look like in practice?
They see the exact same data points, like a customer's billing address or their total employee count copied and pasted across 5 different custom objects.
Right, because to an admin, that makes it easier to see on the page.
Yes, but to a data engineer, that is a ticking time bomb for data anomalies.
Why is it a time bomb?
Because the moment one of those addresses changes, the other 4 are instantly out of date.
And the system can't tell you which one is the actual truth.
Exactly. It's like having 5 different clocks in your house that are all set to slightly different times.
Oh, that's brilliant. You never actually know when you're late.
Right. So what else do they see? They see schema bloat,
Ah, the graveyard of custom fields.
dozens, sometimes hundreds of custom fields that were created for a single report 3 years ago.
And they are never actually used again.
They just sit there, cluttering the database and slowing down query times.
What else?
They see completely incorrect data types. This is a huge one.
Give me an example.
An admin might create a revenue field, but set the data type as text instead of currency or number,
Wait, why would they do that?
because they wanted the reps to be able to manually type about 50K instead of entering 50,000.
Oh no, I can see the reporting nightmare already.
Exactly. You cannot run a mathematical sum on a text field.
So when the CFO asks for the total pipeline?
The system crashes or returns an error. The admin just broke the most critical function of the CRM because they didn't understand data types.
Unbelievable.
And finally, the engineer sees incredibly poorly designed, infinitely long drop-down menus,
Hard-coded into the system.
which are completely unscalable the moment the business expands into a new market.
So going back to our city road metaphor, the data engineer is looking at this city and seeing roads that lead to brick walls,
Highways that funnel into single-lane dirt paths.
stoplights that are permanently red.
Right. And again, the city hasn't burned down yet,
The business might still be making sales. You can sit in your office and look at your custom dashboard.
but every single one of those architectural errors introduces a massive amount of friction.
Friction is the perfect word.
None of these poorly designed fields or incorrect data types will trigger a catastrophic failure on day 1.
But that friction compounds silently over time.
Exactly. Every new hack, every new duplicated field, every new clunky workflow you add to patch a previous mistake.
It puts immense stress on the computational foundation.
And eventually, that compounding friction makes the system so rigid, so fragile, and so convoluted that it becomes completely impossible to trust, maintain, or scale.
So let's explore what happens when that friction gets too high. Because every ops professional has hit this wall.
Oh, everyone has been there.
When the CRM becomes a convoluted, untrustworthy mess, and the reporting dashboard takes 10 minutes to load only to show you data you know is wrong,
What is the natural human reflex?
the reflex is to abandon ship.
Yes, you hit export to CSV.
You pull all that messy data out of the CRM, you drop it into Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, and you try to make sense of it manually.
You try to use the spreadsheet as a life raft.
But the reality we are exploring today issues a massive warning about this.
This is a huge warning.
That combination relying on a fractured CRM and exporting everything to spreadsheets hits an absolute brutal scaling wall.
This is one of the most critical junctures in understanding this evolution.
The assertion from our research is bold, but undeniably true.
You fundamentally cannot run a modern, complex enterprise sales organization on a combination of spreadsheets and a basic CRM alone.
It is mechanically impossible.
It really is.
Wait, I have to stop you there because I personally know people who are doing exactly that right now.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
There are massive revenue teams, hundreds of reps, and the ops team is running the entire forecast off of incredibly complex VLOOKUPs, pivot tables, and exported Salesforce reports.
They're doing it today, yes.
So are you saying they are failing?
There is a very important nuance here that we need to clarify.
Okay, let's hear it.
You absolutely can survive on spreadsheets and a CRM.
Okay.
You can keep the lights on. You can delay the ultimate problem.
If you are willing to work 60-hour weeks manually scrubbing data on a Friday night,
Just to get the forecast ready for Monday morning, yes, you can survive.
right.
But, and this is the absolute limit of that model, you fundamentally cannot scale on it.
Surviving is not scaling.
That's a brilliant distinction. Surviving is not scaling at all.
So let's talk about the exact breaking points. Let's walk the listener through exactly when and how this survival tactic shatters.
The breaking points usually happen across 3 specific thresholds.
What's the first one?
The first is sheer data volume. There's a very literal physical limit to how many rows of data a human being can manually reconcile in a spreadsheet.
Before errors become a mathematical certainty.
Right. If you have 500 customers, Excel is fine.
Sure.
But if you have 5 million transaction records coming in from product usage, marketing clicks, and sales calls,
Excel will literally physically crash.
it will freeze your computer. The spinning wheel of death. Human manual processes simply cannot process that volume.
And even if it doesn't crash, the time it takes a human to manually clean and merge that data makes it obsolete by the time the report is actually finished.
Exactly. You're looking at history, not real-time data.
What's the second threshold?
The second is when business complexity outpaces simple UI workflows.
Give me a scenario.
Let's say your company transitions from selling a simple, flat-rate software license to a complex, usage-based consumption model
With tiered pricing, multi-currency conversion.
and prorated mid-contract upgrades. The basic if-this-then-that rules in a CRM user interface cannot calculate that.
A spreadsheet can try.
But the formulas become so dense and intertwined that if one person accidentally deletes a single cell,
The entire global revenue forecast breaks.
and nobody knows how to fix it because the person who wrote the formula left the company 3 months ago.
The dreaded Frankensheet, we've all seen them.
Yes, the spreadsheet that is so complex, it basically becomes an unmaintainable piece of custom software.
And the third breaking point.
The third is speed. When the executive team or the board of directors demands faster, more accurate decisions.
In today's market, you cannot wait 3 days for an ops analyst to manually clean a spreadsheet.
Right, to run the VLOOKUPs, build a slide deck.
If a new competitor enters the market or a macroeconomic shift happens, the business needs to pivot strategy today.
They need real-time, trustworthy data. And the spreadsheet and CRM export model is inherently retrospective.
It tells you what happened last week, not what is happening right now.
Exactly.
And here is the truly harsh insight. When that massive failure finally happens,
When the Excel file corrupts.
when the CRM automation loops endlessly and crashes the server,
When the board is handed a revenue report that is off by millions of dollars.
the natural human reflex is to blame the software.
We've all done it.
Oh, Excel's so clunky, or Salesforce is just a terrible tool. We need to buy a new CRM.
But the reality is much tougher to swallow.
It is a bitter pill.
It is. When this system failure occurs, it is almost never because the software tools fail the user.
Because the tools are doing exactly what they were mathematically designed to do at that specific level of architecture.
Right. Excel is calculating cells. The CRM is storing strings of text.
So where does the failure actually lie?
The failure lies in the fact that the sales ops professional attempted to force a non-technical manual process into what is fundamentally a deeply technical scaling problem.
The role never evolved alongside the complexity of the tools.
That's the heart of it.
So human manual processes eventually hit an unscalable concrete wall. Spreadsheets break. Basic admin UI clicking breaks.
Yeah.
If human effort can't get us over that wall, the natural next step, especially in the conversation happening right now across every industry, is to look to artificial intelligence.
AI is the hot topic everywhere.
Everyone is looking at AI as the ultimate life raft. I don't need to learn data architecture. I'll just ask ChatGPT to fix my CRM.
Oh, I hear that all the time.
But the reality we are diving into makes an incredibly fascinating and totally counterintuitive point about AI.
It really flips the narrative.
It argues that AI isn't just a tool to help you work faster. It is actively, aggressively changing the minimum requirements of your job.
This is perhaps the most critical shift happening right now.
We constantly hear the narrative that AI is going to make top performers even better.
It's going to raise the ceiling.
And that is true. But what is far more impactful for the average professional is that AI is raising the floor.
It is completely eliminating the ability to operate without a technical foundation.
It is raising the minimum bar for entry into the profession.
Exactly.
I really want to make this tangible for the listener. Let's walk through a specific scenario that illustrates this perfectly. Let's call it the schema test.
Okay, I love this example.
Explain to me what a schema is, first of all, and then let's run the test.
A schema is basically the foundational blueprint of a database.
Okay.
It defines exactly what tables exist, what specific fields are in those tables, what the data types are.
And crucially, exactly how all those tables relate to one another.
Right. It is the architectural plan for the house. So the test goes like this.
All right, hit me.
Ask a traditional, non-technical sales operations professional, someone used to just clicking around the CRM UI, to design a relational database schema from scratch for a new recurring revenue business model.
Okay, so they sit down with a whiteboard. What happens?
They will struggle immensely.
I mean, I would too.
They might draw some boxes representing customers and invoices.
Yeah.
They might draw lines between them that make logical sense to a human business person.
But it won't be technically sound.
No. They won't understand how to normalize the data to the third normal form.
They won't know how to handle many-to-many relationships with junction tables.
Exactly. It will be a conceptual sketch, not an engineered blueprint.
Okay, now let's flip it.
Right. Take that exact same prompt, design a relational database schema for a recurring revenue model, and feed it into an advanced AI model.
And the difference is staggering.
Right. It's not just a little better. It's an entirely different league.
Yeah.
It is instantaneous perfection relative to the human baseline.
The AI will not draw a conceptual sketch.
No, it will immediately output a highly structured, perfectly normalized data model.
It will flawlessly identify complex relationships between entities.
It will define the primary and foreign keys. It will suggest scalable architectural patterns that the human didn't even know existed.
And it will generate the actual SQL code to build those tables in milliseconds.
Milliseconds.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to push back hard on this.
Let's hear it.
Because this sounds like the ultimate argument against needing to learn technical skills.
Oh, I see where you're going.
If AI can do all of this deep, complex architectural data modeling instantly, flawlessly, and for free, doesn't that mean I need less technical understanding?
That's the logical leap a lot of people make.
Right. If the AI is going to build the perfect schema for me, can't I just be the idea person?
Visionary, right.
Yeah. Can't I just be the business strategist who speaks English to the AI, asks it to do the hard engineering part, and then takes the credit?
It sounds so appealing.
Doesn't AI completely save the non-technical ops person?
That is the ultimate trap of the AI era.
Yeah.
And it is a very dangerous assumption.
Why?
The reality absolutely shatters that mindset.
Yeah.
AI is not going to replace people who understand systems.
It is going to replace people who make technical decisions without technical understanding.
Exactly.
Explain the mechanics of why that is true. Because if the AI gives me the answer, why do I need to know how it got there?
Let's play out your exact scenario.
Okay.
You ask the AI to build the schema. It hands you back a beautifully complex, highly normalized, third normal form data model.
With junction tables and composite foreign keys.
Right. It hands it to you. And you have absolutely no idea what you're looking at.
Oh,
You don't know what a foreign key is.
Yeah.
You don't understand why it created a junction table instead of a direct relationship.
I see. So I have the blueprint, but I don't know how to read blueprints.
Precisely. And because you cannot read the blueprint, you are completely useless to the implementation process.
Wow.
You cannot validate if the AI's model actually aligns with the weird, nuanced realities of your specific sales team.
Because AI doesn't know the internal office politics or the weird legacy exceptions we have.
Exactly. You cannot maintain it when the business changes next quarter. You cannot integrate it into the wider, messy legacy systems your company already uses.
If you don't understand the technical output that the AI generates, you become a bottleneck.
AI doesn't do the work for you so you can relax.
It commoditizes the generation of technical architecture.
Yes, which means the value of an operations professional is no longer in creating the baseline model.
Your value is entirely dependent on your ability to comprehend, validate, and manipulate that highly technical architecture in the real world.
That is a truly staggering realization.
The AI is doing the baseline work instantly, but by doing so, it is demanding that you, the human in the loop, operate at a much higher, more technical level of comprehension.
Just to keep up with what the machine is producing.
If you are still struggling to understand basic Excel formulas, and the AI is outputting complex relational database architecture,
The gap between your skills And the baseline requirement of the job has just widened into a chasm.
Now, because of this massive dual pressure, the immense pressure from business scaling demands on one side and the sudden technical capability of AI on the other,
The operations profession is experiencing a violent, permanent rift.
the great bifurcation.
Yes, the profession is actively splitting into two very distinct, very different career paths.
Let's deep dive into these two paths because the outcome for each is vastly different: who survives and who gets left behind.
Well, the first group that is emerging from this rift is what we can call the system maintainers.
Okay, paint a picture of a day in the life of a system maintainer. Who are they?
A system maintainer is a professional who relies entirely on their software tools without truly understanding how those tools function under the hood.
They treat the software as a black box.
Exactly. Their day-to-day existence consists of executing repetitive tasks entirely within the confines of a user interface.
They live in menus and dashboards.
Right. When a problem arises, and problems always arise, their only recourse is to apply patches.
They are the people applying the duct tape we talked about earlier.
Yes, they build another workaround, they create another manual spreadsheet export.
They ask reps to check another box.
They are entirely reactive to the system, forever trying to keep it from breaking, but never actually designing it.
It sounds exhausting. It's a career of playing endless whack-a-mole with data errors.
It really is.
And on the other side of this great rift, we have the system builders. What makes them different?
The system builders represent the future of the profession. They are the exact opposite of the maintainer.
They are defined by a specific, robust set of technical capabilities.
They don't just use software. They understand data at a fundamental atomic level.
They understand system architecture and relational mechanics.
Crucially, they use AI effectively.
Meaning, when the AI generates a complex schema, they know exactly how to read it, critique it, and deploy it.
Because they possess this deep foundational knowledge, they are capable of designing truly scalable, permanent solutions.
Not just temporary UI workarounds.
Right. They build infrastructure.
And the reality check here is impossible to ignore.
It is stark.
When you looked at these two paths, the system maintainer endlessly patching leaks with tape, and the system builder engineer of new, scalable plumbing.
Only one of these paths actually survives the scaling wall we talked about earlier.
Only the system builder path scales. It is a mathematical certainty.
The maintainers will inevitably eventually be crushed by the sheer weight of data volume, business complexity, and the demand for real-time speed.
The black box will just become too complicated for them to patch.
Exactly.
I really want you, the person listening to this deep dive right now, whether you are driving or at the gym or sitting at your desk, to just pause for a second.
Yeah, really think about this.
Think about your own daily tasks over the last month. Think about the very last time you were asked to solve a complex problem in your CRM.
How did you approach it?
Did you fix it by clicking around in the user interface, trying different drop-downs until it visually seemed to work?
Or did you map out the data relationships on a whiteboard first?
Did you query the database to see the raw data? Look in the mirror and ask yourself, which side of this divide are you currently standing on?
Are you patching the system or are you building it?
And if you are having a moment of realization right now, if you recognize that you are currently on the maintainer side of the rift, the good news is that you can cross over.
You absolutely can.
But the only way to cross over to the builder path is to fundamentally, radically change your relationship with the software you use every single day.
You have to stop viewing the user interface, the buttons, the colors, the dashboards, as the boundary of your job.
You have to break out of the UI entirely.
Yeah.
And that leads us to the most technically dense, but arguably the most critical part of our exploration today, the technical toolkit.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
If the UI is a dead end for these massive scaling issues, how do builders actually fix the data?
It turns out they bypass the interface entirely. They go straight to the source.
Let's look at the actual real-world complex problems that standard tools completely fail to solve, and the specific technical tools builders use to solve them.
Because the reality of modern enterprise data is deeply messy.
The problems are immense.
We are talking about the agonizing, slow process of cleaning completely unstructured data sets.
Like millions of free text notes entered by sales reps over 10 years.
Right. We are talking about reconciling data across entirely different isolated systems that don't naturally talk to each other.
Like an ancient billing system and a modern marketing platform.
We are talking about handling data volumes that are simply too massive for a computer's RAM to process in Excel.
and the need to automate highly complex, multi-step logical processes that a standard CRM workflow simply isn't smart enough to handle.
When a system maintainer faces these massive, messy problems, their reflex is always to try and force the problem back into the tiny box of the UI.
They say, let's build a new report to filter out the bad data.
Or, let's build a workflow that sends an email alert when the data is wrong.
Or, worst of all, let's hire an intern to manually fix these 10,000 rows.
Which is exactly the wrong approach.
The true solution, the hallmark of the system builder, is understanding how to interact with the raw data directly underneath the software layer.
Let's break down the actual technical approaches that these builders must embrace when the point-and-click tools inevitably fail them.
Let's walk through these because there are some serious technical concepts here, and I want to make sure we explain the how and the why behind every single one.
Sounds good.
First up, writing scripts in Python. Now, most ops people hear Python and think, I'm not a software developer, why do I need to learn a programming language?
Python is incredibly prevalent in data science and analytics for a reason.
Give me a scenario.
Imagine you have a massive data set of customer addresses, but the data is a nightmare.
Oh, we've all seen those.
Some reps typed street, some typed ST period, some put the suite number in the city column.
If you try to clean that in Excel, you are writing thousands of nested IF statements, and it will take days.
So a system builder doesn't do that. They write a short Python script using a library like Pandas.
What does the script do?
The script can automatically use regular expressions to instantly identify patterns, separate out the suite numbers, standardize the street abbreviations,
And output a perfectly clean data set in seconds.
Yes. Python allows you to write complex conditional logic to automate tasks outside the rigid rules of the CRM.
It gives you absolute control over the data.
You bypass the interface entirely and just tell the computer exactly what to do with the raw text.
Incredible. Okay, next concept. Working with distributed systems like Apache Spark.
This is a fun one.
Now, why on earth would a sales ops person need to know about Apache Spark? This sounds like heavy data engineering.
It is heavy data engineering, and the fact that it is now relevant to operations shows just how much the role has evolved.
Let's explain why Spark exists.
Okay, traditional computing, like your laptop running Excel, is like having one single, very fast chef in a kitchen.
I love this analogy.
If you give that chef 100 potatoes to chop, they can do it quickly. That is normal data volume.
But what if you give that chef 10 million potatoes?
It doesn't matter how fast they are. They will eventually collapse. Excel crashes.
So what is Apache Spark in this analogy?
Apache Spark is a distributed computing system. It is like hiring 1,000 chefs,
Okay.
dividing the 10 million potatoes equally among them, and having them all chop at the exact same time, then combining the results.
That makes total sense.
When your company's tracking billions of microtransactions from product usage data to score lead intent,
A builder knows they have to use distributed systems to process that volume. You have to understand how to manage the 1,000 chefs.
exactly.
Next, we have an acronym, CDC, which stands for Change Data Capture.
Yes, this is huge for integrations.
How does this solve the problem of moving data between systems?
Think about how maintainers usually move data between a CRM and a separate billing system.
They usually do massive, clunky, overnight batch exports.
Right. Every night at 2 a.m., the system pulls every single customer record, bundles it up, and shoves it over to the billing system.
It is highly inefficient.
It's like taking a group photo of a crowd of 50,000 people every single night, just to see if one person bought a new hat.
Oh, that's a perfect way to visualize it. It takes massive computational power.
It slows the servers down, and if it fails at 2:05 a.m., the data is out of sync for a full 24 hours.
So what does Change Data Capture do differently?
The CDC operates at the deepest level of the database, the transaction logs.
Okay.
Instead of taking a photo of the crowd, CDC is like handing every single person in the crowd a pager.
A pager, all right.
The absolute millisecond a specific record changes. Someone updates an address or closes a deal, that specific pager goes off.
And only that tiny piece of data is instantly streamed to the billing system.
It is real-time, highly efficient synchronization.
So a builder understands this architecture so they never build clunky overnight bash jobs that crash the server.
Right. You completely eliminate the 2 a.m. server crash.
That alone is a superpower. Okay, let's talk about designing composite keys.
This one sounds like cryptography, but it's not.
Yeah, it actually solves one of the most maddening daily problems in ops, mapping data.
This is entirely about data mapping and integrity.
Give me the breakdown.
Imagine you are trying to merge a list of leads from a trade show into your CRM database.
You need a unique identifier to make sure you don't create
A
duplicates.
CRM usually uses an email address. But what if the trade show list only has phone numbers and first names?
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Or what if a customer is in System A under the name John Smith and in System B under J. Smith?
How do you confidently merge them without overwriting the wrong data?
It's like trying to find John Smith in a crowded stadium. If you just yell, "John!" 50 people turn around.
Exactly. Yelling John is a single key, and it fails.
A composite key is when a builder combines multiple distinct pieces of data to create a brand new, highly specific, unique identifier.
So they might write a script that concatenates the first 3 letters of the last name, the last 4 digits of the phone number, and the zip code.
Exactly. So John Smith becomes SMI-4589-90210.
Suddenly, you have a highly precise composite key.
You can now match that specific string across any system with absolute certainty. You pinpoint the exact right person in the stadium every single time.
That is brilliant. It turns ambiguity into mathematical certainty.
But what about when the data is just terribly human? What about typos?
Right. The next technical skill is applying fuzzy matching or geocoding techniques.
Fuzzy matching is crucial because human beings are terrible at data entry.
We really are.
Let's say one database lists the company as IBM, another lists it as Intel Business Machines, and a third lists it as I.B.M. Corp.
If a maintainer uses a standard Excel VLOOKUP to merge these, it will fail 100% of the time.
Because VLOOKUP requires exact character matches. It sees those as 3 entirely different global entities.
Which leads to 3 different sales reps calling the exact same confused buyer.
A builder bypasses VLOOKUP and uses fuzzy matching algorithms.
Calculating something like the Levenshtein distance, which mathematically measures how many character edits it takes to turn one string into another.
Right. The script calculates an 85% probability that IBM and IBM Corp are the same entity and automatically merges them.
It solves human error with mathematics and geocoding.
Geocoding is translating physical addresses into exact geographic latitude and longitude coordinates.
Okay, why is that useful for sales ops?
If you want to build perfect sales territories, you don't assign reps by zip code, because zip codes are arbitrary, weirdly shaped polygons.
Right, they don't make sense for drive times.
You geocode the customer addresses, you perform a spatial join using Python, and you instantly calculate the exact drive time from the sales rep's house to the customer.
It is advanced spatial analysis to solve a real-world territory problem.
Exactly.
Okay, we just went deep into the technical weeds. Python, Spark, CDC, composite keys, Levenshtein distances.
Covered a lot of ground.
And it might sound overwhelming to someone whose primary tool right now is a pivot table.
I'm sure it does.
But there is a core philosophy here that is incredibly liberating. The goal isn't to go out tomorrow, buy a massive textbook, and memorize the Python syntax for a Levenshtein distance algorithm.
No, absolutely not.
The goal isn't to become obsessed with one specific tool.
Because the specific tools will inevitably change. 10 years ago, it was a different language. 10 years from now, AI might write all the Python for us.
But the core philosophy, the defining mantra of a system builder is this: the tools will change, but the problems won't.
Messy data, conflicting systems, and the need for scalable architecture will always exist.
Always. The real skill, the true enduring value of a modern sales operations professional is knowing how to look at a deeply messy, ambiguous human business problem.
And natively translated into something you can solve with raw data and logical architecture.
It is the ability to look at a sudden drop in conversion rates and know instinctively how to query the raw database,
How to normalize the findings, and how to write a logical script to uncover the friction point.
rather than just clicking refresh on a standard CRM dashboard and hoping the answer magically appears.
It is the shift from being a passive consumer of software to an active engineer of business reality.
As we start to wrap up this deep dive, we have to confront the final reality, the hard truth of this entire evolution.
We cannot sugarcoat it because the stakes for your career are just too high.
What is that hard truth?
The hard truth is this. No one is going to walk into your office tomorrow, tap you on the shoulder, and force you out of your job because you don't know how to write a Python script or explain change data capture.
There is no immediate cliff.
Right. You can absolutely stay in your role, operating as a system maintainer, applying duct tape and fixing spreadsheets without adapting for now. You can keep your head down.
But there is a massive but coming.
But over time, as the business scales, as data volumes explode, and as AI continues to raise the floor of what is instantly possible, you will be outperformed.
And this is the real tragedy. You won't be outperformed because you suddenly forgot how the business works.
You won't be sidelined because you lack business acumen or because you don't understand the sales funnel.
You will be completely outperformed because the fundamental underlying nature of your role now demands a technical architectural skill set that you simply do not possess.
The role is literally moving past you.
The laws of physics change, and you are still swinging the hammer the old way.
That is a heavy, heavy realization.
But we certainly aren't going to leave you feeling overwhelmed, helpless, and staring into the abyss.
No, because the path forward is actually incredibly clear.
We have a very actionable roadmap, a starting line, for exactly how you can begin this transition from a maintainer to a builder starting today.
It is a very practical roadmap. If this entire conversation feels uncomfortable, that is good. Discomfort is where growth happens.
So where do they start?
Here's where you start. Step 1. Learn SQL beyond the absolute basics.
SQL-structured query language.
It is the fundamental language of interacting with databases. You need to be able to bypass the UI report builder and ask your database complex questions directly.
Learn how to write JRNs, learn how to group data, learn how to interrogate the raw tables.
Right. Step 2. You must understand fundamental data modeling concepts.
Specifically, focus on 3 things: grain, relationships, and normalization.
These are your blueprints. You need to understand the grain of a table, which simply means defining the absolute lowest level of detail that a single row represents.
Is a row a customer? Is it an invoice? Is it a single line item on an invoice?
If you mix grains, your math will always be wrong.
You need to understand how tables relate mathematically.
One to many, many to many. And you need to truly understand normalization.
The process of structuring data to completely eliminate redundancy and protect data integrity. What's step 3?
Step 3. Map your ecosystem. Learn exactly how your company's systems actually connect.
Don't just accept that the CRM talks to the ERP. Find out how.
Exactly. Are they using a brittle overnight badge API call? Are they using real-time webhooks? Are they using CDC?
Go talk to your engineering team. Ask them how the plumbing works.
Step 4. You must actively, aggressively integrate artificial intelligence into your daily technical workflow.
Do not just use AI to write polite emails to the sales team.
Use AI to raise your own technical floor. Feed an AI an exported schema and ask it to explain the relationships to you.
Ask it to help you write complex SQL queries. Ask it to explain what a Python script is doing line by line.
Use the machine as an infinitely patient senior engineering mentor.
And finally, step 5. Challenge yourself to get comfortable solving problems outside of a user interface.
The next time you are asked to clean up a messy list of leads, do not open Excel.
Force yourself to try and clean it using a script or using a direct database query.
Stop relying on the buttons that a software developer designed for you and start interacting with the raw data directly.
I want to leave you with a closing mandate that I think perfectly balances the urgency of the situation with the reality of your day job.
You do not need to quit your job and go to a coding boot camp to become a full-time back-end software engineer. That is not the expectation.
But you absolutely must stop operating as if the technical layer doesn't matter.
Stop operating as if the technical layer doesn't matter, because it does.
It dictates everything. It is the whole job now.
It really is.
You know, going back to where we started, thinking about waking up to a job that entirely changed its core requirements overnight while the title stayed the exact same.
It is jarring. It can be scary.
But if you embrace it, it is also an incredible opportunity.
If you are willing to learn the new rules of physics, you become the architect of the entire revenue engine.
It is the natural, inevitable evolution of the profession.
You either evolve with it and become the builder, or you remain a maintainer and eventually become a relic of the manual spreadsheet era.
Which leaves us with a final lingering thought to ponder long after you finish this deep dive.
I love this question.
If we follow this logic to its ultimate futuristic conclusion,
Yeah.
if the system builders out there eventually master this technical layer perfectly, and if AI handles the instantaneous scaling, generation, and deployment of flawless data models,
What happens then?
what entirely new, currently unimaginable business problems will sales operations be asked to solve in the next 5 years once the foundational plumbing of the data is absolutely perfect?
That is the ultimate question. If the foundation is flawless and the plumbing never leaks, what kind of magnificent house do we build next?
Exactly. Something to think about the next time you log in and are tempted to just quickly add another custom checkbox.